long now to recognize my voice?
It's been a long while since your voice, or any voice, has interrupted me at my rest.
I wake up incessantly in the night. How kind of you to finally respond.
How is it possible for you to make a connection over such immense distance? Of course, it's not impossible, only a hypothetical communication between us. Why have you called me, Grace?
I want you to tell me yourself. I want no more speculations from others. Why? Why did you do it?
You're indulging in your usual emotionalism, Grace, breaking my rest at the floor of the sea with these outcries too loud at last not to hear.
Ours was not a relationship, was it? I could ever permit quiet voices.
Between us? No. No.
There was something like the time between the year 1932 and the year 1947. Years devoted by me to a constant effort trying to sort out and put together the many bits of mystery and conflicting reports of your life. To the time I last saw you in California, and when I knew I could never again. And after.
You are breaking my rest at the floor this evening with these outcries too loud at last not to hear. I have chosen to rest here. Many of us have chosen to rest here. Please don't take that from me. Please don't.
We can beg you for your last dollar, my son. But it's not quite as you think. The name you signed on the registrar of this place to rest has not been washed away by all the coming and going of tides. I have my place in that. In fact, in my vocation, my only decent life from spring 1932 to midsummer 1947. Have you any conception of these years between? The slightest idea? Or have they no concern with you?
All right, have it your way. And forget possibilities. But you were talking to me 15 years after.
After you.
After I came out of the steamship, Orizaba, at high noon, a night and a half day north of Havana, my face disfigured by a drunken riot in Bruce Squares. Came out on the deck of the steamship, in my pajamas and coat, walked directly over to the stern of the ship, folded the coat neatly over the rail, and then left. Now, I've told you what. For reasons unknown. I have to pretend to know. Now do you pretend not to know?
I know what witnesses reported.
But you still say that there are circumstances that make it possible for us
To talk.
Grace, you've often talked to me in an illogical, sometimes hysterical manner, but never to this extent under natural conditions. You don't sound well to me, Grace. Aren't you coughing, Grace? You sound as if you had a fever.
Night employment in winter in buildings where the heat was turned off after regular working hours was not conducive to health. That's of no consequence now. You must suspect now that our circumstances have become the same.
I didn't quite hear that.
Perhaps you didn't wish to.
No, the distance, the connection.
All right, dismiss it as that. You know what? I exist in your blood as you exist in mine.
There's no blood and bones. Cast and scattered as gambler's dice on the seafloor, and you know it.
I think of what did exist. Having existed once remains a claim what cannot be denied, unless you admit to regard yourself. My son Hart, as being completely and exclusively a product of the cream chocolate maker of Cleveland, Ohio, a box of his chocolates now, is that what you claim to be only?
Thundered parentage, Grace. Is that from which I chose to descend a night and a half a day north of Havana. Listen, can't you hear them? I hear them. The bells of the cathedral ringing at daybreak. And so it was. I entered the broken world to trace the visionary company of love. I know not an instant in the wind. I know not whither hurled, but not to hold each desperate choice.
My son Hart, if you only knew how desperately I'd have finished your poetry with my life
Because?
it was mine too.
Will you please allow me exclusive copyright to my poetry, Grace? It was my life, not yours. Allow me that.
What in the name of Christ didn't I allow you? Overindulgence was my one fault as your mother.
Of your emotions, of yourself.
Of you, and you know it. Name something that I didn't allow you. The tower room of the house, the phonograph playing all night as you're fixing out the cadences of the verses. And finally, my heart. No matter what you shocked me to say in California, your perversion confessed that ugliness spat in my face.
So many allowances, God! How often I've had to beg! And I had pride, but I begged. I fell to my knees and begged of you. A way to lie from me, imposed on me like a prison sentence. And I had to tell you the truth, but you abhorred it. You loathed it. That confession. And from the candy maker of Cleveland, little remittances, pittances, tight-fisted little dribbling which I had to continue. Don't you understand? I had to beg for what I received to feed me.
Feed you with what heart?
With what, did you ask?
Yes, knowing the answer. The sex of sailors picked up in dockside bars of Brooklyn, as if their thin bits of bread that symbolize Christ's flesh at Holy Communion, and their blood, as if his seed. Oh, but all that.
It was nothing now.
Did it ever mean something?
No, not really. But you and chocolate maker Cleveland predisposed me towards anything but wayward types of love speaking.
I thought we agreed that that's of no consequence now.
Now, no. But when I insisted yes, it meant much, if not everything.
Granted, it's all absolved and nearly forgotten, but, heart, please, I don't want any more icy language between us. Heart, please, not at my
At your what, Grace?
distance, away.
The question can't be affected by distance, nor can it be fairly called for distance. My concern for you, Grace,
Your
was.
concern for,
My concern for you, Grace.
your concern for me, heart,
Here, again.
again.
You choose to dismiss it. Although I'm sure you still know.
Surely I still know what.
That my concern for you, Grace, was central to my being at the heart of my body.
If those bones, thrown in the ocean's floor, have them, as you said, no heart of mine, then how could they have a sense of being that is with me?
You can't seem to believe that I can only speak for what was, not what is.
What was, by the distance and depth of the sea dividing us now, is what it was, preserved, imperishably.
You and dear grandmother not only sold the place in Euclid, but the place in the Isle of Pines.
The place on the Isles of Pines, it would have been lost to Cuba. And as for the Cleveland place in Euclid, Mother Elizabeth and I had to sell it to go to Florida, heart.
I was left no place. A poet must have a place. And when I appealed, I begged of the chocolate maker in Cleveland. He wrote back, saying that his enterprise had steadily declined since 1922, and that his new enterprise, the cozy country inn, Trinity Cottage to Brent Falls, had steadily declined, since had only possible profits in a dubious future. But still, his stinginess of me, like so much else that mattered at the time, is dismissed by the judge in the large, the immense courtrooms, such a long time away.
Chocolate business in Cleveland, cozy country and Chicken Falls, suitable monuments to a man who wrote such cheerfully vacuous letters. Refusing appeals from his son was constructing a myth of America far beyond his chocolate-stained fingers of his complacent small mind. I sold my diamonds for a song. Do you know what I was finally employed at, heart?
The place in Euclid and the place in the Alpines. But that's what we have to speak about over such distance, an impossible distance. Didn't you start to tell me what you're employed at?
Till recently, not now. Now I'm employed at.
At what?
That which you must have suspected since you first heard my voice over this tenuous connection, that must be broken off in a moment and never be restored again. It has been my dedication, my vocation, to protect your name, your legend, against the filthy scandals that you seem determined to demolish with them. Despite my age, my illness, I have carried the stones to build your tower again, and it did hurt me, heart. That you wrote the lovely little things, just flowers in Mexico. Oh, heart, how brave the flowers were. The violets, the cornflowers, carmine poppies, red and white carnations. A wire to you I quote. Come at last, desperately ill at home, you can help. Close quote. Did you come? Did you come to me, heart? Did you help?
I inquired of friends in Cleveland if the appeal was, if the circumstances were authentic.
Before that, I wired to you from California. Quote, Mother died tonight, funeral here advised. Close quote. If you replied, the letter does not survive.
I call upon Father to make some provision for your welfare, Grace.
I want to reconfess that obscene confession of your sexual nature has a little to do with the well-dimensioned grace of the heart in you, heart.
What are you employed at now? This time, please no evasion.
Till recently, and now, I was a night scrub woman, heart. A night scrub woman.
No, Grace, no.
Oh, but it's of no consequence now. That's what I was finally employed at. Traveler, stranger, son, my friend.
Grace. Grace.